Michael J. Fox just turned 64, and while most celebrities at that age are thinking about legacy and awards, Fox dropped a bombshell that nobody thought coming. In a series of recent interviews, the beloved actor got brutally honest about something most people avoid talking about: his own funeral, and more specifically, who he absolutely does not want showing up. We're talking A-list names, people you'd assume would be welcome, but Fox isn't playing the Hollywood game anymore. And what he revealed tells you everything about what 3 decades of battling Parkinson's disease teaches you about who really matters. The names he mentioned, they'll surprise you. The reasons why, even more revealing. Michael J. Fox didn't just stumble into stardom, he fought for it with everything he had. Born in Edmonton, Alberta in 1961, Fox grew up in a military family that never stayed anywhere long enough to call it home. His father's career meant constant moves, new schools, new faces. Most kids would struggle with that kind of instability, but Fox learned to adapt. He became the kid who could walk into any room and make friends instantly. Charm wasn't something he learned in acting class, it was survival. At 15 years old, while his classmates were worried about prom dates and football games, Fox made a decision that would have terrified most adults. He dropped out of high school and moved to Los Angeles with barely enough money for bus fare. His parents thought he'd lost his mind. What kind of teenager throws away education for a dream that statistically almost never comes true? But Fox wasn't interested in statistics. He slept on a mattress on the floor, used a phone book as a pillow, and survived on Kraft dinner and sheer determination. The auditions came and went, rejection after rejection. Bit parts, guest spots, whatever paid enough to keep him fed. For years, this was his life, struggling, grinding, refusing to quit. Then 1982 happened. Family Ties needed a young actor to play Alex P. Keaton, a Reagan-loving teenager in a liberal household. Fox got the role, and suddenly America couldn't get enough of him. He wasn't just funny, he had this quality that made you feel like you actually knew him. Like he could be your buddy, your brother, the guy next door who always had the perfect comeback. The show became a massive hit, and Fox became a household name overnight. But television fame was just the beginning. Back to the Future almost didn't happen for him. The producers originally cast Eric Stoltz as Marty McFly and filmed for weeks before realizing it wasn't working. They fired Stoltz and called Fox, who was still filming Family Ties full-time. What followed was one of the most insane schedules in Hollywood history. Fox would shoot Family Ties all day, then race to the Back to the Future set and film all night. He was sleeping maybe 2 or 3 hours a night, running on pure adrenaline and the knowledge that he was part of something special. When the movie hit theaters in 1985, it became the highest-grossing film of the year. Fox wasn't just a TV star anymore. He was a legitimate movie star, the kind whose name alone could sell tickets. Teen Wolf came out the same summer. Think about that. 2 massive hit movies in theaters simultaneously. Fox was everywhere. Magazine covers, talk shows, award ceremonies. He dated Nancy McKeon from Facts of Life. He was young, handsome, talented, and the world was his. The Back to the Future sequel cemented his status as one of the biggest stars on the planet. He could do comedy, drama, romance, anything. Studios loved him. Directors loved him. Audiences worshipped him. By his late 20s, Michael J. Fox had achieved what most actors spend entire careers chasing. And then his left pinky finger started twitching. It was 1991. Fox was 30 years old, married to Tracy Pollan, and they'd just had their first child. His career was thriving. Life was perfect. Then he noticed a tremor, just a small twitch in his pinky finger, nothing major. He figured it was stress or exhaustion. He was working constantly after all. But the twitching didn't stop. It got worse. His hand started shaking more noticeably. He tried to ignore it, tried to convince himself it was temporary. Finally, he went to see a doctor, expecting to hear it was nothing serious, maybe overwork, maybe a pinched nerve. Instead, the doctor delivered news that shattered his world: Parkinson's disease. Fox couldn't process it. Parkinson's was an old person's disease, something that happened to your grandparents, not to a 29-year-old movie star at the peak of their career. He thought second opinions, third opinions, fourth opinions. Every doctor said the same thing: young onset Parkinson's disease, progressive, incurable. It would gradually steal his ability to control his own body. The diagnosis sent him spiraling. He started drinking heavily, trying to numb the fear and rage and grief for the future he thought he'd have. And here's the thing that most people don't understand. Fox kept it secret. For 7 years, he told almost nobody outside his immediate family. 7 years of living a double life. He kept working, movies, TV shows, interviews, appearances, all while hiding tremors that were getting harder to control by the day. Fox developed an entire arsenal of tricks to disguise his symptoms. If his hand was shaking, he'd shove it in his pocket or grip something. He'd time his medication perfectly so that during filming, the tremors would be at their minimum. He'd adjust his acting style, incorporating movements that made the shaking look intentional. It was in many ways the greatest performance of his career, pretending to be healthy while falling apart inside. In 1996, Fox landed the lead role in Spin City, playing a fast-talking deputy mayor of New York. The role demanded energy, physicality, rapid-fire dialogue. It was exhausting for a healthy person. For someone with Parkinson's, it was torture. Between takes, co-stars would sometimes notice the tremors. Fox would crack a joke, change the subject, deflect. The drinking got worse during this period. Not enough to interfere with work, he was always professional, always on time, but enough to take the edge off the terror of watching his body betray him. Tracy stood by him through all of it. They had 3 more children during these years. Twin daughters in 1995, another daughter in 2001. Fox has said his family was the only thing that kept him going, the only reason he didn't completely fall apart. By 1998, the secret was crushing him. The stress of hiding it was almost worse than the disease itself. Fox made the decision to go public. He sat down with Barbara Walters and told the world he had Parkinson's disease. The response wasn't pity, it was overwhelming admiration. People rallied around him, inspired by his courage and honesty. Fox stepped away from Spin City in 2000, and the show gave him an emotional send-off that had the cast in tears. Charlie Sheen took over the role, and an era ended. But Fox wasn't done with Hollywood. He made guest appearances on Scrubs, Boston Legal, Rescue Me, The Good Wife, often playing versions of himself or characters dealing with Parkinson's. He showed the world that the disease didn't define him. Living with Parkinson's isn't like recovering from an injury. There's no finish line, no moment when you're healed. It's a constant companion, always there, always demanding attention. The tremors are just the visible part. Parkinson's affects balance, making falls a constant danger. It affects speech, making it hard to be understood. It causes muscle rigidity, slowing every movement. It messes with sleep, mood, memory, cognition. Fox takes medication to manage symptoms, but the medication itself creates problems. Levodopa, the primary treatment, can cause dyskinesia, involuntary jerky movements that are sometimes worse than the tremors. It's a constant balancing act, trying to find the right dose at the right time to maximize good hours and minimize bad ones. Over the years, Fox has had multiple surgeries. Spinal surgery to remove a tumor left him temporarily unable to walk. He's broken bones from falls. He's dealt with infections, complications, setbacks that would have broken most people. Each time he fought his way back. He's had to give up things he loves. He can't play guitar anymore. His fingers won't cooperate. He can't type easily. Simple tasks most people never think about, buttoning a shirt, tying shoes, cutting food, require intense concentration and effort. But Parkinson's hasn't taken everything. Fox still has his razor-sharp mind. He still has a sense of humor, that dark, irreverent wit that helps him cope. He still has his family, his real friends, and his mission. The Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research launched in 2000, and it's become a powerhouse. Since its founding, the foundation has funded over $1.5 billion in research, making it the largest nonprofit funder of Parkinson's research in the world. Fox threw himself into the work with the same intensity he once brought to acting. He testified before Congress, pushing for increased funding for medical research, including controversial stem cell research. He became the public face of Parkinson's, using his celebrity status to raise awareness and money. The foundation funds studies on everything from genetic causes to potential treatments to quality of life improvements. Fox isn't just a figurehead, he's deeply involved, understanding the research, asking tough questions, demanding results. He's written multiple books about his experience: Lucky Man, Always Looking Up, A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Future, and No Time Like the Future. The books are honest, funny, and sometimes heartbreaking, offering a window into life with chronic illness while maintaining hope and humor. Throughout his career, Fox formed close friendships with people in the industry. His Back to the Future co-star Christopher Lloyd became a lifelong friend. They've reunited multiple times for anniversary celebrations and charity events, and their genuine affection for each other is obvious. Fox maintains friendships with his Family Ties co-stars, including Meredith Baxter and Michael Gross, who played his TV parents. From Spin City, he developed close bonds with several cast members who've talked about how Fox never complained, never used his condition as an excuse, always brought his best even on days when he was clearly struggling. But Hollywood friendships are complicated. They're often based on proximity. You're tight when you're working together, but when the project ends, you drift apart. Fox has experienced this like everyone in the industry. Some friendships last, others fade. That's just how show business works. Recently, Fox has started talking more openly about death and what he wants for his funeral. For someone who's lived with a progressive disease for over 3 decades, thinking about the end isn't morbid, it's practical. Fox has always had a dark sense of humor, the kind that helps people cope with hard truths. And true to form, he's approached the subject of his own funeral with jokes and brutally honest observations. According to recent interviews, Fox has thought about who he'd want at his funeral, and more entertainingly, who he'd prefer stayed away. He's joked about certain Hollywood personalities whose presence might turn a solemn occasion into something else entirely. One name that reportedly came up was Johnny Depp. Fox has nothing against Depp personally, he's made that clear, but he's joked that Depp's unpredictable nature and tendency to be, well, Johnny Depp, might turn a calm, dignified goodbye into a spectacle. Depp is known for his eccentric behavior, his unique fashion choices, his tendency to bring drama wherever he goes. Fox, imagining his funeral, has jokingly said that Depp might show up in full Jack Sparrow costume, or bring a guitar and start performing, somehow making the event about Depp rather than a quiet farewell to Fox. It's said with affection and humor, the way old friends might roast each other, but there's truth in it. Fox wants his funeral to be low-key, intimate, drama-free. He doesn't want it to become a Hollywood production or a media circus. George Clooney is another name Fox has jokingly mentioned. Clooney, for all his talent and charm, has a tendency to be the center of attention wherever he goes. He's smooth, suave, naturally charismatic, qualities that make him a great actor, but also qualities that might shift the focus of a funeral away from the intimacy Fox desires. Fox has joked that if Clooney showed up, every woman there would be looking at Clooney instead of remembering Fox. The cameras would focus on Clooney. Conversations afterward would be about Clooney. It would become the funeral George Clooney attended rather than Michael J. Fox's funeral. Again, this is said jokingly with no real malice. Fox and Clooney have crossed paths many times, and there's mutual respect. But Fox's point, made with humor, is that he wants his funeral to be about quiet reflection and genuine emotion, not about who showed up or what they were wearing. When Fox talks seriously about death, setting the jokes aside, what comes through is a deep desire for peace and simplicity. He spent his entire adult life in the public eye, dealing with fame's demands, media scrutiny, fan expectations. For his final goodbye, he wants something different. He said he'd like to just not wake up one day. That would be really cool. No drama, no painful decline, no long goodbye. Just a quiet exit, preferably in his sleep with his family around him. He doesn't want his funeral to be a big Hollywood affair with hundreds of people and paparazzi outside, everyone performing their grief for the cameras. He wants something small and intimate, close family, true friends, the people who really knew him and loved him beyond the celebrity. Fox has also joked about not wanting people to come to his funeral out of obligation. He doesn't want industry people showing up because they think they should, or because it would look bad not to, or because they want to be seen there. He wants people who genuinely care, who will genuinely miss him. This makes sense. Fox has spent over 4 decades in an industry where appearances matter more than reality, where people are friendly to your face but forget your name the moment you're no longer useful. He knows the difference between real friends and Hollywood friends. For his funeral, he wants only the real ones. So who does make the list? His wife Tracy tops it, obviously. They've been married since 1988, and she's been his rock through everything: the diagnosis, the struggles, the dark periods, the recoveries. Their relationship has weathered storms that would have destroyed most marriages, and they've come through stronger. His four children are included, naturally: Sam, born in 1989, and twin daughters Aquina and Skylar, born in 1995, and youngest daughter Esme, born in 2001. Fox has said being a father has been one of life's greatest joys, and watching his children grow has given him purpose and motivation to keep fighting. He wants the small circle of friends who stuck by him through the years, the people who call just to check in, who visit without cameras or fanfare, who treat him like Michael the person rather than Michael J. Fox the celebrity. He wants people from his foundation, the ones who've worked alongside him in the fight against Parkinson's, who share his passion for finding a cure and helping others living with the disease. And above all, he wants it to be peaceful. No wailing, no over-the-top eulogies, no performative grief. Just quiet acknowledgement of a life lived, battles fought, and finally, rest. As Fox enters what he calls the back nine of his life, he continues to inspire. He's working on a new documentary about his life and his foundation's work. He makes occasional public appearances, though less frequently than before. He continues advocating for research and funding, and he thinks about his funeral, about his death, not with fear, but with practical acceptance. After 33 years of living with Parkinson's, death isn't an enemy. It's simply the end of a long journey, one he's traveled with more courage and grace than most of us will ever need to summon. His legacy isn't just the movies and the laughs. It's the foundation, the research, the billions raised, the lives changed. It's the example he set of facing impossible odds with humor and dignity. And when the time comes, he wants to go out on his own terms, surrounded by the people who truly matter, in the simplicity and peace he's earned.